And here we go. Apparently this doesn't work. No. No. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is pure BS. That was just one purely lucky roll. I already know what I'm working on. We all already know I know what I'm working on. No, we don't already know that. I already know what I'm working on. You already know by the title. I have something I want to talk about. Yeah. Sorry, you're going to have to see a little bit of the pattern in the corner. Deal with it. It's like, I don't know, 20 pages or something. That's not that many pages. It's like 6 pages. It's a minuscule corner. You ain't getting anything from that. Leela. Sorry, I don't know if Leela's your actual name or if that's just the name of your studio. I swear it's nothing against you. It's just a tiny part of the pattern. So, I actually kind of need the pattern a little bit more. No. Can I see it? You know, it might be half covered up by the actual fabric anyways. Yeah. So if you saw the title, well, if you watched this before, you know, my last one, I had basically given up on doing these. I was getting really sick and tired of just a lot of the YouTube political BS. Yeah, I just decided to take a break. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Didn't really know what my plans were. I definitely not planned on doing any more Stitch-with-Me's, at least not for October. I originally planned on doing Stitch-with-Me's for Patreon, which I had set up to do my Grime Guard of the month, which includes more than Grime Guards, the possibility of getting needle minders, ort books, floss drops, or just signing up for something like Stitch-with-Me's. Yeah, like I said before, nobody signed up, nobody was interested in that, so yeah, you know, don't know what I'm doing along the lines of Stitch-with-Me's anymore. So I'd done the whip challenge idea, and that still didn't work. Sorry. I'm using a smaller table than usual, and you know what I've decided? I need to use the bigger. It's a TV tray. But I'll put those clear over there on top of the pattern. Yeah. Let's try and get this somewhat situated. So I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I've recently been involved in, you know, just a lot of stuff from the past week, really. If you are a fan of BTS, and even if you are not a fan of BTS, you've probably heard the news that they have officially decided to start the process to enlist in the military. This has been an ongoing debate, and because of this, I have just hit a point that I really want to talk about it. And I've tried talking about it with, other people online and stuff, but I have very different it's not really necessarily viewpoints. I just involve so much more than just BTS into my decisions and my thoughts. And BTS fan base is a very strong one. They call themselves ARMY, if you don't know. I was considering myself an ARMY, but I'm to the point that I just no longer really consider myself an ARMY. The fan base is really, pick a side. It's very kind of bullying, which is funny because BTS themselves, the members speak out against bullying, tell you not to do that. Yet the fandom seems to be exempt from doing it or something. I don't know. So just that sort of, it just makes me not feel like I'm actually ARMY. So I consider myself a BTS fan. I do not think the boys are gods. I do not agree with everything they say and do. There are situations they have been in which I do not think were handled correctly. But everything is my own personal opinion, and yeah, people seem to struggle with that concept sometimes. I don't know what color this is. It was already on here. When this runs out, I'm gonna have to figure it out. Anywho, so yeah. That being said, the whole military thing is definitely a debate, and it definitely makes my head go in multiple directions. And yeah, it's just kind of me wanting to sort of work it out a little bit. As an ARMY, you will know there are 2 camps at the moment. Camp BTS Military and Camp BTS Exemption. One camp is, okay, BTS has decided to go to the military. We're going to support them. This is what they want. The other camp is, maybe they're supporting them, but they don't believe that BTS actually wants to go. And you're supposed to pick a side. I'm not of either camp, which sounds funny, but the reality is there are 7 members of BTS. I struggle to believe that all 7 boys have the exact same views and opinions on if they want to go or not. I think it is highly likely that they have differing views and opinions and desires, and they are having to make decisions as a team as to what to do. They also have to follow what their managers and company wants them to do as well, because whether people like it or not, BTS is most definitely HYBE's cash cow at this point, for sure. HYBE is constantly talking about diversifying. However, HYBE does not seem to realize that diversifying should also include actually working with the companies they bring in and stuff like that to continue to grow and improve those companies. They don't seem to do that with their companies. They just kind of pop them on and in, in their little spreadsheet of companies that are under them, and then just kind of let them linger. I think this was quite obvious. Weverse is the platform for fans to go for multiple idol groups and artists, And this was the platform that was set up for BTS. Did a free concert that was streamed live, and the platform completely crashed after a much smaller number. Sorry, had to look to see what I was doing. A much smaller number of people getting on than it really should have. It was, they knew the numbers, and they're like, oh, we added servers before all this, and them adding servers meant that they still have half as many servers as most social platforms. So they clearly were not being prepared as a fan base site. It's not very user friendly. The interface is quite confusing. And then, this might not bug most people, but from a business perspective is completely stupid. They do not actually have the shop, the merch shop, on the same app as the social platform. You literally, it's not just the app sends you somewhere else. You literally have to download a separate app to shop in the Weverse shop. And I'm just like, who does that? It is the stupidest thing. I can go to Amazon, I can go to Target, buy my BTS merch, shop for other things, and, get one shipment all at once. It's like so much easier for me. And it makes me think about my purchase and stops me from buying shit I don't need. So, yeah, probably not the best setup, but again, like I said, Hybe doesn't really do things to enhance the companies that come in under them. So, needless to say, if you're an investor, I would look a little bit deeper into what's under Hybe and if there actually is value in it, because from what I can tell at this point, not a good investment opportunity. Yeah, just a personal opinion. So, sorry, looking. Anywho, moving on. BTS enlistment. Of course, there's conspiracy theories and all the other fun crap going on. There's a lot of, BTS is doing this to, force the government to see what it'd be like without them, and, the government's gonna be regretting this decision, blah, 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 blah. Maybe, to some extent, I don't really know. Okay, for a second there I thought this was off. I was like, oh, what did I do wrong? I'm good. Anywho, yeah, but very much just a lot of, childish thought process. Now, it is known that BTS themselves brings in a much larger percentage to the South Korean economy than, you know, like as a single group, they bring in so much to the South Korean economy. And it's like a full percent or something like that, I think. Or nearly 1% or something like that. Which doesn't sound like much, but for a single K-pop group to be bringing in that sort of income, or, you know, it's not income, it's, I don't know, whatever you'd call it. They're bringing in that money to the South Korean economy, to the South Korean government. So, I mean, that's definitely pretty much on the fairly impressive side, you know? Most, you know, it's just, it's not normal. Not much of anybody else single-handedly does that. How much it's going to affect them? It'll affect them for sure. Is it going to be on a scale that they care about? That I'm not so sure about. Yeah, I think it does kind of make South Korea look bad. I mean, their greatest issue right now is North Korea. Hold on, I need to figure out what color this is so that I can, you know, grab another one. Oh, where's it at? But yeah. Oh, hold on. Sorry if it's shaking anything. I apologize. You know, I mean, North Korea is their biggest issue right now. And, you know, for a country such as North Korea, that's, you know, communist, I believe, under dictatorship, the fact that K-pop idols are being forced into the military, it's not exactly scaring them. In fact, they're probably laughing their butts off. You know? I mean, these are not people you're gonna want actually in war. Not because they don't have the skills. I'm sure they completely have the skills. It's just that they are definitely very noticeable. This is clearly an issue that the country has been focused on, which, you know, gives North Korea reason to believe that South Korea does not have their shit together. So they're making themselves look pretty bad at the moment. But, you know, they're not people you'd want actually in the war. They're known, they're noticeable. If North Korea turned out to be as bad as, say, Hitler, could you imagine if any actor or musician or celebrity, any sort of celebrity, was actually taken prisoner? And, you know, we had somebody who was a Hitler-type individual. If, you know, the North Korean government turned out to be sadistic, I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sadists, if they, you know, turned out to be sadists, they would torture the crap out of them. They would stream it. They would show it to all of South Korea. And they would do it because they know it would completely kill South Korean morale. So they're, in the end, they're not even people that are of value to have if an actual war were to break out. They would be more of a liability than anything else. And North Korea would know this. Now, is North Korea the type that would torture other people? I don't know. I've never met the North Korean president. I've never been part of the North Korean military or government. So I don't really know how they view things. I'm just saying if. And even if they, are not that way, there's still the added concept that they do know either way that these types of individuals, were they to actually be in a war, would be a liability. And having them in the military might not be a liability, but it does kind of make them... It makes South Korea look kind of weak, actually. It makes them look very weak. So, there's of course a lot of... most people are like, oh, BTS will show them. No, BTS is taking charge of their life, and they could quite well be. The free concert was supposed to be a World Expo event. Busan is in the running for the 2030 World Expo, and this concert was supposed to be them, showing off the, what they can do, and why the World Expo being there would be so great. And oh my god, it was a massive farce. It was so horrible. Like, you cannot even imagine all the crap that went wrong. Honestly, I highly doubt Busan is in the running for that World Expo anymore. They just really don't look capable of handling an event like that, because there was so much going on, so many mistakes made. It was so disorganized. And then in the end, Busan didn't even pay for it. They made HYBE pay for the concert. And that all being said, not once during the concert was the World Expo even mentioned. Like, it's World Expo concert, the boys are ambassadors for this, and it was never even mentioned. Like, seriously. How do you not mention it? Anyways, color me confused on that one. It just definitely... If I was on the World Expo committee, just seeing everything that went wrong with that, and literally the city didn't fix it. They handed it over to HYBE, and HYBE fixed it, and even HYBE still... They know how to put on a concert. They did not know how to put on a concert of this magnitude. Weverse had a massive crash when it tried to stream it. Everything just shows up as them really not being competent to do this. You need, you need people who can... sorry, I was trying to get this starting place. Yeah, you need somebody who can be organized, and they show no indication of organization whatsoever. So, yeah. But, just crazy. And then, of course, it's the, what sort of effect will this have on South Korean politics? Not in the sense of the military or the, the guys themselves, but they're kind of going against the typical culture of the way things are done. Like, Busan, the city of Busan, not paying for the concert. In some Asian cultures, talking about money is a little bit taboo. It's considered impolite and improper, from what I have understand. I could be incorrect about that. This is just something from what I understand. So, which is why Busan could then come up and say, "Oh, I thought you were gonna pay for the concert." You know? Like, that's part of... Oh, I'm sorry. That's part of your choice to be an ambassador, is that you pay for everything as well? Why doesn't Hybe host the World Expo, not Busan? Sorry, my brain is just struggling to comprehend this aspect of it. In the States, we are definitely, hashing out money terms is very much the proper way to go about it, so we are all on the same page, and we know exactly what we're doing. It is considered a proper way to do business, and they don't apparently seem to look at things the same way we do, and that's okay. That's their country, not mine, but it's still very confusing being from a different culture. So, but because of this, there is also a lot of situations where things are just kind of suggested or planned without being put down on paper, and it's believed that BTS's exemption was kind of always one of these things. You get involved in this government stuff and really push for all these things that the government really show Korean pride, and go to the UN and give speeches and be ambassadors and all this stuff, and exemption, it's yours. And we don't know if there was some sort of unspoken agreement like this. It's believed that there was. Neither Hybe nor the government has confirmed this. Neither one will. So we probably won't ever really know for sure if there was. People are saying, well, BTS was obviously hoping for an exemption, otherwise they would have they wouldn't have applied for the extension. They would have already applied for the military. It's believed by some that that was their original intention before the pandemic started, that they were going to do their military after their world tour, it really does make sense. They mentioned that after On came out and their concert, that they were originally planning on taking a longer break. And, pandemic happened and they went in a completely different direction because of it. So that could have originally been their plan. The concept of an exemption, I don't think really happened until the pandemic, I think they were sort of discussing it beforehand, because from what I understand, it's been 4 years. So I guess they would have been slightly discussing it beforehand. But I think it really became big more the past couple of years. But yeah, they would have been talking about it pre-pandemic as well. I don't know where things were at with it during that time frame. I haven't done any research on that. But, we don't really know if they were initially planning that or not. They've never come out and said that they want an exemption. People claim that they have come out and said that they wanted to go to the military. I've never heard them really say that they want to go to the military. I've heard them say that they would be proud to do their military service, and that they are, when they are called, they will go, which is a good thing because you can, go to jail for not being willing to do your military service. It is the law for you to do so, just as it is the law in the United States. If you are a male, when you turn 18, you're supposed to register. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. You're required to register that way. If they suddenly need to come into war, you're on the list. So, yeah. We still have a little bit of something, here in the States too. Maybe not quite as extensive, but we've got something. So, I'm gonna assume BTS is willing to go, given that sort of situation. Again, I also think at least some of them are definitely proud and honored to go, or maybe wanting to go, or maybe looking forward to the situation to go, something in that realm. And I bet some of them are really wishing they had gotten an exemption. There's 7 different men with 7 different views and opinions. Maybe they've been sitting around going, okay, let's leave this up to fate. Let's give it some time. See what our work's doing, what our work schedule's doing, what our plans are within the company and our music. And let's, go for a time and see if we can get this exemption. If we are, then that's, our fate to get exemption. If not, then, when we're in the right place with our careers, with our schedules, we'll shoot off and apply for the military. Maybe that was their plan all along. I don't know. There's so many maybes. And people will be like, oh, of course BTS wants to go. This is the exact type of guys that they are. We don't know that. I love how people assume that they know these poor boys. Sorry. They're not boys, they're young men. I know this. I'm middle-aged, in case you guys didn't know this. I'm in my 40s. I remember my 20s. I was still a kid in my 20s, so I tend to think of other 20-year-olds as being kids as well. I just got a weird message on my phone. I think it's cut out for a second. My phone only lets me record for about 30-ish minutes, so I think it was letting me know that it hit that length and it's restarted, so I'll have a weird random little cut in this. I apologize. It's normal. Yeah, I need to mark off what I've done. Anywho, yeah, 7 different men, 7 different viewpoints, and I will actually stand firm on that theory, because that theory seems to be a fairly solid one, in my opinion. I know all these things you hear out there, everything's just a theory. Nothing is an absolute, nothing is fact. Everything is just theories. Everybody has their own theory out there about things. And I think that's what drives me insane the most about all of this, is all the theories running around and everybody spewing them out as if they're actual fact. They're not. They're not fact. None of this is known. None of this is known to be true. It's so exhausting. And then just, oh my gosh, the fake news gets so bad. People think that they live in a K-drama. Holy crap, it's horrible. I was on a premiere on YouTube, which, by the way, people get really confused about lives and premieres. They see the chat and they think it's a live. It's like, no, this is not a live, it's premiere. Okay. What does that mean? It means it's a premiere, not a live. Wasn't this the same thing? No. Premieres are pre-uploaded, and it was pre-recorded and is uploaded, and it premieres at a certain time. This allows there to be a chat, a live chat, for you to talk to others, and the actual content creator does not have to be there. They can go off and go visit family if they want to. They can go on vacation. So, yeah. But I was on a premiere, and somebody was just like, are they gonna let Jin go to Argentina? By the way, Jin, going to Argentina in a couple days. Gonna be performing with Coldplay, his new single. Looking forward to it. Because, yeah. I mean, come on, Coldplay. BTS, heck yeah. But, somebody was like, are they gonna let Jin and JK go to Argentina? Since when is JK going to Argentina? He's not part of the single. It's Jin's single, not JK's. Well, we heard JK was going with him. Since when? All Hybe said is that Jin is going. Well, the news says that Jin and JK are planning on going so that they can, defect to Argentina and not do military. For crying out loud. This is what we call fake news. And this is probably a Jin and JK shipper, because people are slightly obsessed with the Jin JK ship, as well as JK Jimin, JK Taehyung, and the Jin Namjoon shipping. Shipping, by the way, generally indicates belief in usually a romantic relationship between two members. Doesn't have to be romantic, but kind of some sort of belief that there's a little bit more intimacy somehow between the two members. And, it could be. They could be best friends or whatever. However, people definitely indicate the shipping as, something different, something more, something that just kind of indicates that they're somehow separate from the rest of the group. It's, I don't know, it's generally romantic, but not always. And it still indicates some sort of, I don't know, difference between them and the other group members. Yeah. I think cute moments of the boys together is, that cute. Staring at the pattern. I apologize. But, yeah. The downside is people who ship members together get really involved in it, and they get mad when one of their ships is shipped with another member. And you're just like, wow, that is excessively, ridiculously, like, what are you invested in and why? it's just, oh, like, seriously? Just seriously? Why are you so invested in this? It's not your life, it's theirs. Let them live their life in peace, please. But it just creates a lot of, hate amongst the fandom and stuff like that. It just doesn't make any sense, really. And bullying. Again, bullying. For some odd reason, so many armies seem to think that bullying does not apply to them, that they are somehow entitled to bully others. BTS is supposedly, I haven't necessarily seen any of it, but they've supposedly spoken out against bullying and said that they don't like bullying and that they're against bullying. Armies do it all the time. They're so bad about it. If BTS is speaking out against it and they're still doing it, they must somehow think they're entitled to do it. I don't know. But, the person. Sorry. I went off on a tangent. You should know me by now. If you've watched me before, you know me by now. Yeah. Probably a JK Jin shipper made some comment about how they should, defect to Argentina so they don't have to go to the military. And it took off, and the fake news became that Jin and JK were defecting to Argentina. And I'm just like, who comes up with this stuff? So, yeah. So somebody in a chat at a premiere was all like, will they let Jin go now? Dude, it's fake news. And then other people were on this premiere, and they're like, oh yeah, it's fake news, come on. Oopsies, I just did this wrong. That's why I only listen to so-and-so's, stream premiere that we were watching. He's the only one that's got real news, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. No, one extreme to the other, for crying out loud. Yes, you should look for people that are actually giving out real news, Keep an eye out for the fake news, for sure. Some of it is very, very obviously fake news. The stream that I was on, I'm not sure how to explain it. It's not fake news, but they're a little bit more conspiracy theory-ish. Their agenda clearly is more towards advocate for social change and stuff like that. It's not necessarily BTS news, but because all the things BTS is involved in, it's always quite a big part of the news, but it's more advocate for social change type of thing. So yeah, the fact that they're like, oh, they're the only one that's got the I'm just like, oh, no. Not quite correct, because he's, got his political views, clearly, that are much more one direction than the other, for sure. So, I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. And, like I said, I don't agree with everything BTS does. You need to be a more well-rounded person than that. You should never just listen to your side of things. Always look at the other side of things. That way you have a very well-rounded view and opinion about matters. And, it's like I was saying before, this whole concept of, will the political climate in South Korea change because of BTS's decision to go into the military rather than waiting for an exemption and waiting for the government basically to make that decision. You know, they said they were going to withdraw their exemptions, the rest of the time frame on their time extension, not exemptions, they're time extensions, so that they could then apply for the military. At this point, the government had been saying that they will make a decision by December. Okay, this is a point in which I think the government's kind of idiots. Of course they're making a decision by December. December's Jin's birthday. He hits a point where he has to. His extension, his time is up, and he has to go to the military unless they make a decision. So they have to make a decision. So it was kind of a stupid comment on their end, but instead of waiting, they did kind of take matters to their own hands and make their own decision. So, you know, there's a lot of people believing that BTS did this on purpose to kind of stick it to the government. Maybe they did, I don't know. I'm not going to go so far as to say that that's why it happened. I am going to say, in theory, that this could change the way things are viewed and, sorry, trying to figure out again what I'm doing. I think I'm on, yes, that's where I'm at. The way things are kind of done in Korea, they might see a need to do away with the whole polite impolite issues with money. It does very much seem, you know, you do this, I do this, you know, things even out, with maybe one party not necessarily holding up their end of the agreement. This is a known thing that they do. This is not just a thing they did with BTS, this is a known way that they actually run things. So, yeah. BTS's decision to not be involved in that could encourage a change in the way, you know, people make decisions and stuff. They don't necessarily have to wait around and play this kind of seems like a game, at least to us in the West. To them, it's just the way they do things, you know. It's part of their social structure, I guess. Like I said, because of, you know, their beliefs of things like talking about money and stuff being impolite. From what I understand, again, I could be wrong about these things, and I will fully admit I'm wrong about these things. I will not fully admit I'm wrong about these things if some random person puts in the comments, "You're wrong, you're stupid." In fact, you want to put that in the comments, go for it. I will not read it. I have got better things to do with my time. So, yeah. You know, I need real concrete stuff, you know, real concrete research that tells me that this is not the way they do things, you know. Not just somebody claiming, well, I heard such and such on this such and such place, you know, such and such place turns out to be fake news. No. Need the real information, sorry. And the information I have has come from actual people living in Korea, so I'm judging their understanding of Korean culture to be a little bit more accurate. Yeah. So, just, that's the thing. All of this still, it's a lot of information going around in my head and what this could mean for lots of different things. And so, and it's like I can't get on anything and actually hear, like, solid, valuable thoughts and opinions. Everything I get on, it's people. The government doing this is they're ruined, they're gonna fall apart, and oh, for crying out loud. I don't think the South Korean government's gonna fall apart just because of BTS. Now, might the South Korean government fall apart because they do stupid things? Yeah. That could happen. Does this issue with BTS kind of highlight the stupid things they do? Yeah, kind of. It's just, and like I said, I am a BTS fan. I struggle to call myself ARMY, but I am a BTS fan. And yeah, it makes me sad that they're gonna go, because I just recently found them in their music, and it means I'm not gonna be seeing a lot of this stuff. There's not gonna be, it's just not gonna be the same for a few years, so it makes me sad still. I think there's value in them going to the military. I think, again, one of those opinions that a lot of armies will hate me for. These boys are not in the same place as the vast majority of the rest of the world. They are multimillionaires. They are celebrities. They live a very different lifestyle than us. They are not dealing with the same thing that 99% of the rest of the world population is dealing with. They will not worry about purchasing a house. They've all purchased homes before they hit the age of 30, and they have enough money that I don't know if they've mortgaged them. I don't know how it works in South Korea, but they're not like us trying to scrape together money for a down payment. They don't have those sorts of worries. They don't have worries about what happens with their career, Because most of us, we hunt for a career and a job, and if we lose that career and we lose that job, it financially hurts us. It makes us concerned about where our path is going, like financially. These boys don't have to worry about most financial aspects of the rest of their life the way other people do. They also have, like I said, celebrity status, which means they don't deal with things. They're not experiencing things in the same ways that we do, with the same choices that we have to make and decisions that we have to make. And again, a lot of it is because they have money, but there's still so much of what they do is done under their label and their company, and they just don't have the freedom that we have. And being of this more celebrity status, they have to be more careful with things like their security, whereas we don't. So a lot of their security means that they're going to be staying in their high-class neighborhoods, and they're not going to be experiencing the things that are going on at our level. You know, they can hear about, say, the floods that happened in Seoul, you know, a few weeks or months ago. They can hear about that. But I don't think any of them went down into Seoul where it was actually happening. Heck, I think it was Jimin. Jimin wasn't even in Korea when it happened. You know? So, they knew it was raining. They knew it was raining heavy outside. But even other people who don't live in the area, they're so much closer to it. They're likely to have friends or families or co-workers or people within their companies that were experiencing it. You know? So they were much more down into it, you know? It was much more, it was affecting them much more on a personal level than it would be with the boys, just because of the lifestyle that not necessarily is completely a choice. I mean, it was a choice for them to be idols and to get to the fame level that they are at. They could have made a choice to leave at any time and not be at that fame level. But because of it, like I said, there's security, and they do have to be careful of those sorts of things. They can't necessarily go down into the slums and be in the thick of things. It's just, you know, it's not a lifestyle that they're part of anymore. So they're not able to relate to things the way the rest of us are. And them going to the military, I think, is one of those things where they can perhaps, you know, kind of be back, let's just say, down at our level again. Even though they probably, from what I understand, they probably will get special treatment in the military. It's still them. It's one of the few things that they will experience now that a lot of other people experience. I don't have to experience it, especially not being Korean, but, you know, it's one of those things that they will be able to experience and relate to on a level with people that they can't relate to with the other typical things in life. So I think there could be value in them going. And again, unpopular opinion. People don't want to believe that BTS, you know, BTS is just like us. Well, yes, they are. They still have the same emotions and feelings that we do, of course. They have their own set of problems being wealthy. Trust me. Hybe stock drop in June because of the Festa. Sorry. Can you tell I live in a land in which Spanish is more common than Korean? Festa. Hybe stock drop. That affected them. They all have shares in Hybe. They all lost a little bit of net worth when that happened. The things that they do struggle with, you know, they have massive careers. They still struggle with things within that career. They struggle with the structure of the K-pop industry. But these are things that we can't relate to on our level. So there's a disconnect there. Whether we like that fact or not, whether they like that fact or not, it's going to be there. It just psychologically is going to be there no matter what. From a technical aspect, it's going to be there no matter what. It's, you know, it's not something we can change. They're not up in there and, you know, playing up to it, going, oh yeah, I'm so much better than you. No, they're not doing that. They're trying to stay humble. They're trying to stay connected with people, which is great. There are just certain aspects to things that they can't. They literally, physically, technically, emotionally, psychologically can't. They can't. And again, which is why I think military has value. Now, do I personally want them to go to the military? Technically, no. I'd much rather they stay out and keep making music for me because I'm self-centered and selfish. So, that's where I stand on that one. But, yeah. Anyways, I've spent an hour. Most people have probably not sat around and listened to my rant. That's okay. I did this mostly for me, wanting to just talk, because I've been feeling a little bullied by armies when I give my opinion on the matter, so this is me, and I don't have to read your comments if I don't want to. So, leaving you for now. See you later. I will be back in probably a couple weeks with a new regular vlog. So, I'll see you then. Bye.